right, it's 9 o'clock. Do you know where your Facebook live stream is? We're here. Second one today, so wow. Not only are we on Facebook, but we are also apparently streaming now on YouTube. So that part's cool. So far we've got, we just went to double the people. We got 18 people watching now. 31. Alrighty, step right up, place your bets. As we get into this winter storm that's been talked about now for a week. We started with this, actually talking about it about last Wednesday. And so we are now at the moment of truth. Little tiny bit nervous, just a little, about a little bust potential that might be sneaking into the equation. But at this point it's a small worry. The preponderance of everything says that everything is on the right track. And so we will get to all of that coming up here. And yes, we're stalling here for a little bit to let some more folks hop on. We're already up over 500 folks. Laura was paying attention to the dry line earlier, and that dry line is moving. And so we will show that to you coming up here momentarily. So we'll give a couple more folks a chance to hop on, and then we will commence with the fun and festivities. Oh, not only are we on Facebook, we're also on YouTube, and apparently we are on TikTok, which would be my first appearance therein. So I guess at this point I am obligated to do a makeup primer for you, and B, some kind of dance video. So stay tuned for the end, and you might just see that. But beyond that, we'll deal with the weather here. So I think we're 1,000 folks in here, so let's go ahead and get started. That said, winter storm warning is up. And as we mentioned earlier today, it's up for most of the area. I-64 is the boundary. So for every county that touches I-64 there south has the warning that it's in our part of the area at least. Carter County is in Huntington's TV market, so they're still in the advisory. We've got two counties technically that are ours that are in the advisory, Harrison and Nicholas. I make that three. Nicholas, Harrison, and Fleming are in the advisory, but we know folks watch us quite a bit up in Mason County, Robertson County, Owen County, Henry County, so you guys are in the advisory also. But there's the advisory. There's my clicker. Okay, so the warning is for Scott County, Franklin County, Bourbon County, and then all the counties are on I-64. Lexington obviously in the winter storm warning, and it goes all the way down to the Tennessee and Virginia line. So here's the big picture. We were watching that snow on the move coming out of the Ozarks. Here we go with our forecast thinking, and has not changed. Right now we're still going to hold with these numbers of 3 to 6 over a broad area. That includes Lexington. So 3 to 6 from I-64 to the Cumberland and Hal Rogers Parkway. So again, this is covering lots of real estate here. So there is your 3 to 6 realm that we're looking at. To the north of that, it falls off pretty quickly into the 2 to 4. Wouldn't surprise me, Cynthiana, Sadieville, maybe northern Franklin County, maybe Carlisle, northern Fleming County, maybe more in the 1 to 3. Than the 2 to 4, just because of that dry line that we were briefly discussing there momentarily. So that's what we're looking at overall with this system. So again, most of you are in the 3 to 6 category, and that again obviously includes Lexington. So here's what's going on. Virga is going on. This is radar snow. Let's see. Well, Jesse asked if Montgomery County's in a little bubble of nothing. No, you're not in a little bubble of nothing. In fact, I was supposed to be in Montgomery County tomorrow, Northview Elementary School for a Bill's Weather 101. That has already been rescheduled. We'll get to all the towns again. We'll recap that at the end. So let's go through the meteorological dissertation. So you've got Virga here. See, 30 miles out, 30 miles out, 40 miles out, where it's in layers a little drier, almost 50 miles out, but we're picking stuff up aloft. So again, this is all radar snow. At that 30, well, at that mark here, that's about 30 some miles, that's about 3,800 feet up is where that's evaporating on the way down. So not only can we show you that, but if we go ahead here and add the National Weather Service radar out of Louisville onto here, because that'll again show you just as you get away from the radar sites, you are indeed running or showing stuff aloft, but just not close to the radars. So LVX. So again, that's what their radar is picking up, and so that's sitting here in Bullitt County. Again, you're seeing the heavier returns from them out and away from the radar site, and they're showing the stuff. You see it over here by Berea and Nicholasville. That's what they're picking up on their radar aloft over our heads. So again, that just gives you a little something of what's out there. So this will eventually be saturating the lower levels, and well, hopefully it's saturating the lower levels. Otherwise, the forecast doesn't do what it's supposed to do. So you are seeing that moving in. And to the north up here, not much is going on. This is also where the really dry area is, which is pushing south. So that's again your setup here. So bigger picture on the radar display. Again, watch the stuff coming out of Kansas and Missouri, Oklahoma, Arkansas. Now getting into western Kentucky. Last we checked, you can see the radar is lighting up all the way to I-75. It's not snowing yet at I-75. Last check from the main reporting stations, this would be as of 9. Light snow's gotten to Bowling Green. It's snowing in Paducah, Henderson, Owensboro, Hopkinsville, and Bowling Green. Everybody else is cloudy, even though the radars, as you look here, radars say, oh no, stuff should be snowing on you. Well, no, obviously it's not yet. So the dry air has to be overcome, and it will be eventually. So there again is your setup. We'll take you to the future track here. So this is the in-house BAMS model, and this is showing stuff. The radars are obviously lit up at this point. So again, we've got radar snow. But as we go ahead in time, we should begin to saturate everything out and then see stuff hitting the ground. So there's midnight. We highlighted this earlier and we mentioned it briefly, the dry line. So again, look at that. So there's midnight. You notice there's 4 a.m. It doesn't penetrate north of that dry line. Snow falling south of that, and even get you then into the pre-dawn hours there and right around sunrise, and eventually should moisten it up that it gets at least a little snow. But again, most of the night in the northern quarter there of Kentucky, the very, very dry surface air will eat the snow. And so we will lose significant accumulation to that with time. By noon, it's all pushing off to the east and away and sets the stage for maybe a little snow coming in tomorrow night. A quick check on the snow stats. So far, we've had 20 inches of snow, 47th snowiest winter we've had. If we get the forecasted accumulation, we are talking moving up to about 31st place. We've had 25 days that have had snow falling this year. Seems like a lot, but that's actually average. Thing is, they've been accumulating snows where we've had measurable, more than 1/10 of an inch, 16 of those, which is above the average. But with an inch or more, we've doubled the average, which is why we've seen the snow around so much. This is kind of key for tonight. The snow ratios. This is very dry Arctic air. And so you fluff it up basically. The snow we had Sunday after all that rain, if you tried to shovel it, which I did, you knew that it was basically half water. So it was maybe a 5, 6, 7, maybe 7 to 1, but I think it was actually lower than that. So again, it was just that heavy, wet snow. When temperatures are around freezing, that ratio is 7 to 1. Well, we're forecasting about 2/10 of liquid equivalent out of this. So that would fluff up to about 1.5 inches of snow if it were around 32. If it were between, say, 26, 27, 28 degrees and freezing, you go to the more common 10 to 1 ratio. That's 2 inches with that 2/10 liquid equivalent, except we're going to have teens for temperatures and Arctic air, which is dry to begin with. So those ratios go 20 to 30 to 1. And don't be surprised if we even go higher than that. We had a snowback in January that was about 60 to 1. Which was just phenomenal. But that would fluff up the 20 to 31, 4 to 6 inches of snow. So again, the Arctic air, I mean, it's plunging all the way down to Texas. So you've got it sitting out there. For us locally, you can see Paducah's at 16 in snow. Evansville's got snow in 17. Bowling Green, snow in 25. And off the Kentucky Mesonet, you see teens north, 20s south. Okay, that's part of the equation. Now, we were talking about that dry air. This is what we are talking about with the dry air. When you see these dew point numbers here that are in the single digits, you see some just updated here, even down to Shelbyville. So the drier air is coming in on these northeast winds and pushing south. These dew point numbers have been falling. What should start happening is as the snow, which again is basically just about over your heads at this point, most of us, as that snow tries to come north, it's going to start saturating this part of the atmosphere. How far north does that come is the key. So again, it wouldn't surprise me if something like that ends up being the cutoff from decent snow to basically nothing because of this dry air that's going to keep pushing in and keep trying to basically, as I said, eat the snow. And it's not yellow snow, so we can get away with it. So that, again, is the setup. Right now, officially in Lexington, we've got the clouds out there at the moment. And if we were to look at the actual temperature and all the other stuff, dew point's down to 11. You got a wind chill at 10. So it definitely is cold as that. High pressure is building in. That's another thing. The high is building in. The high is not losing the battle. So, again, that just leads to that little shade of doubt on what has been an otherwise extremely well-behaved system. So let's come on in and I'll back that up one more time and show you the snowfall that we're expecting. And I'll pop the questions back on here. So you got the whole background as to what's going on. Again, for those watching on TikTok, cool, I guess. Okay. No, the dew point sensor, Matt, is down in Barberville. So again, snowfall numbers for most of us. We are solidly in. Ooh, that's cool. We'll use this one. We are from I-64 to the parkways in the south. We are still forecasting 3 to 6. That, keep in mind, if you are a snow lover and expecting gigantic snow, that means the 3 could just as easily show up. Now, again, with that little shade of doubt, maybe that lower snowfall amount ends up being a little further to the south. Maybe. At this point, I'm not forecasting that way. I'm just saying that's at least something that's sitting there. Lake Cumberland area near the Tennessee line, 2 to 5 inches. North of 64, 2 to 4, and I think it falls off pretty rapidly to an inch or two once you get up here. So, again, Lexington, we may end up with 2.5, 3 inches of snow. I think 4 is a better number still at this point, but again, it'll be in that close, and most of this is going to be falling in the hours after midnight. Are we thinking this sticks around all the way till Thursday morning? Yeah, it's not going anywhere. It's going to be cold here through Saturday. We may sneak above freezing now Saturday afternoon. And there's a pattern change coming really starting Sunday. There's some days in the 50s next week. Georgetown, I think you're on a little lower number. 2 to 4, maybe better for Georgetown, which puts you right at that edge of winter storm warning criteria, which is 4 inches. You are technically in the winter storm warning, but I fully suspect the numbers will be decreasing as we go north. It's going to stick around. It's going to snow probably till the middle of the day tomorrow, mid to late morning, right around noon. Lexington, eastern Kentucky, it goes into the early afternoon. Thoughts on the commute tomorrow? My daughter's in the same boat that you all are with that. She's got to get to work tomorrow morning in Winchester, and So yeah, we were talking about that. She had the option of spending the night where she works, and she's gonna drive back and forth. So we'll see how it goes. So hopefully everything's fine with that. But I do expect, the roads will be snow covered if this comes according to as it should. Just because again, it's so cold. Treated roads will probably end up being okay, but again, road conditions, exact road conditions after this is all done, I can't necessarily answer. It's not going to be a wet snow, so it's not going to pack in. This is going to be a dry, fluffy snow. Alrighty. No. Johnny Feltner, so 3 to 6 with this. If you're going the 20 to 30 to 1, is going to be about 2/10 of an inch liquid equivalent. So if I did the math right, which may be questionable. Mercer, I've got you solidly in the 3 to 6. It's one of those things. Tomorrow, more than likely, you should be able to get from point A to point B. It's just gonna take longer, and it might be significantly longer. You need to budget that in. You can't drive to work tomorrow normally, and so take that into account. I feel confident in my abilities to drive in the snow. I grew up in it, did it, done it off and on all my life. So, but you can't always depend on what other people do who are not paying attention to what the weather conditions are and trying to drive like it's normal, and that can mess everybody else up along the way. So drive slowly, increase your following distance. Take your time to get from point A to point B. Crab Orchard, solidly 3 to 6. Estill County, I think you're pretty solid 3 to 6 as well. Lexington again, Joanne's 3 to 6. Berea 3 to 6. Flemingsburg 1 to 3, maybe 4, but I think 1 to 3 might be a better option for Flemingsburg. What does the Lexington TV market cover? Okay, and this is determined by the good folks at Nielsen. So this is, I'll outline the Lexington TV market. So it's Wayne, Russell, Casey, Boyle, Mercer, Anderson, Franklin, and then we cut down this way through Scott, Harrison, cut it down this way. There's Fleming, Rowan, Morgan, McGoffin, Johnson, Perry, Leslie, Clay, Knox, and then Whitley. So that's the Lexington TV market. Up here, it's Cincinnati. Over here is Louisville. This is Huntington, Charleston, Huntington. Down here, it's actually some Tri-Cities, Bristol, and there's also Knoxville down there. So that's technically how it's broken up. Technically, McCreary belongs to Knoxville too. But that's just how things are broken up. That's the Lexington TV market. So there's a little inside baseball for you tonight. Okay. Bath, I think 2 to 5 for Bath might be a better option. But now we're starting to really parse things a little more finely. The one thing I don't like to do with a snowfall forecast is start trying to get cute with it, which is a temptation. But I liked the numbers where we were and how things had been developing. Again, that dry air, though, is just a little bit worrisome. So that's the bust potential. If you were watching the 6 o'clock tonight, Larry said, and Bill has been saying what's on the way and kind of promising, and it's like, that's like the sports comment. It's like Al Michaels saying he hasn't missed a free throw in a month and a half. And what happens? Doink. But yeah, we've been watching this thing for a week, and it's been well behaved. It's doing right now exactly what it's supposed to be doing. Now the question is, does it finish? And regardless, it's going to get really cold. Frankfurt, I think again that 2 to 5 for Frankfurt's probably a better option. Richmond 3 to 6. Carter, you're probably in that 2 to 4 range. Paris easily 2 to 4. Wouldn't surprise me start getting into the northern part of the county. You might be the 1 to 3. I think it starts before 2 a.m. It likely will be starting. Let's see, it's 9:20 now. It actually may be after 11 when it starts in Lexington. It is taking its time. Again, it's overcoming that dry air. Somerset, Laurel County. I think the northern parts of both Laurel and Pulaski are solidly 3 to 6. You get down around Lake Cumberland, Laurel Lake, it may be more 2 to 5. Garrett County 3-6. Moorhead probably in the 3 to 6, maybe 2 to 5, a better option there. But again, didn't want to parse it too much. Yeah, the travel from Boonesboro to Winchester may not be a whole lot of fun in the morning, just as my daughter may not be having a whole lot of fun from Lexington to Winchester. Nancy asked, so again, the start time seems to be slowing down a little bit, and again, it's that dry air. So let's say here at about 11, maybe midnight, 1, and then that's kind of ballparking it. He knows his counties. I've been here 26 years, so yeah, I kind of got him down by now. But you get me out here past I-65, forget it. But yeah, our counties, I can recognize by sight. Mason County, 1 to 2, maybe 3. I think you are less in Mason County, which is Maysville. It's going to be a powder snow, Jack. I mean, it is going to be a dry, powdery snow. Austin, they're asking because they don't necessarily know which county or where they are. And so that's part of my job to help guide them. I try and give you the range, Nicholas. Low end is the 3. If everything goes right, you get the 6. For Lexington, I've been kind of saying 4 plus or minus. And speaking of darling daughter, she's calling. So I'm guessing you're on your way home. Okay, well, I'm doing a Facebook Live right now, so everybody say hi to darling daughter. And Olivia, say hi.
Hello.
All right. Actually,
sorry,
okay, now go ahead.
Yes, I'm on my way home.
Okay.
I'll talk to you later. Love
Love
you.
you. Bye. And she's a medical professional. That's why she is ice on there. And yes, it'll be light, fluffy statewide. And this is, there's not going to be anything else that mixes in here. It's either snow or no. You're either going to get snow or you're going to get nothing. And it'll be a light, fluffy snow pretty much everywhere because nobody's going to warm up. We're talking maybe middle, upper 20s across the south at best. Regina heard the jinx. So yeah, we're all going to blame Larry if this doesn't work, okay? Are you with me on this? We're going to blame Larry for jinxing it. Probably midnight for the start time in Richmond, maybe a little sooner. Mount Sterling, you are looking again 2 to 5, 3 to 6, with the start time probably after midnight now. John said maybe John Gordon from the Weather Service in Louisville said this might be the last snowstorm. I don't know. I know the pattern's going to shift here for a little while. The American model, which by the way, this winter has actually done pretty well, has got one more possibility after a nice little push of warm air, but that possibility doesn't come in until March. So we'll worry about that a little bit down the road. We're almost to the end of winter. I mean, this has been a really nice winter for winter lovers. So it's got to end eventually. What you're looking at here in terms of the mapping is the NDFD data from the Weather Service. I thought it was a pretty decent representation of what I was thinking too. So there may be a little surge where, for whatever reason, down in Cumberland and Wayne County, that darker blue. Don't you don't necessarily pay that much attention to the how the maps where the colors are bouncing around. Um, if we wanted to do it this way, there's 2 to 5, 3 to 6 south, and 3 to 6 south. And I've got 2 to 5 down here too. So that again, that was just more for convenience than anything else. It's even if I were to hand draw it, it's fuzzy. It's not hard and fast lines. It doesn't magically stop there at Winchester where you change a type from dark blue to light blue. It's again just kind of for guidance. And thank you, Amanda, for wishing my daughter safety, and Dolly for saying hi. Oh, everybody's saying hi to Olivia. Thanks. I think one of her last appearances was in the middle of a severe weather episode when she was like 8. It is coming down in Bowling Green. Good to hear. Thank you, Monica. So that's good ground truth on that. Well, there's no best snow to drive in. It's what your comfort level is. The best snow to drive in is probably no snow, because then you don't risk any of the ice at all. Okay. Starts moving out middle of the day tomorrow. The snow will really start tapering off middle of the morning tomorrow. It should be out of Lexington by noon. Eastern Kentucky early in the afternoon. By the way, if you're traveling east, driving east, going through West Virginia, North Carolina, it's going to be nasty. This storm is going to crank on the East Coast. In terms of not being able to hear me, that I don't know. I've got one mic right there, and beyond that, I don't know. That'll be Paul when you're in tomorrow. Engineer Paul or Engineer Jeremy, any of the engineers. Check out the audio, I guess. I'll listen to it here coming up in a little bit. So yeah, you see what we're thinking. I haven't seen any reason to change. I was looking at the high resolution. Well, I'll check one more thing here. The HER model, the high resolution rapid refresh. So that comes out every hour. So let's just double check in here. Snow total. Dun, 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 dun. Comes in a little lower. This is now more. It would, if the HER is to be believed, take the 2 to 4 more like that, and scratch off. Well, I can't scratch it off because it's on above. It'd be more 3 to 4, maybe 5. But again, that's we'll see where we end up with this. But again, that dry air has got me worried on the forecast. So now it's a waiting game, and we've done all we can do with the forecast, and now we've given you the best information we can. You've gotten the updates, and we'll see what we wake up to tomorrow morning. If you wake up north of 64 and it's an inch or 2, that's certainly not beyond the realm of possibility. If you wake up in Lexington, it's a couple 3. Again, certainly a possibility. But again, you've got the numbers, what we think. I think 4 again for Lexington, at least going into the last hour, was a good number. But again, that's plus or minus. And again, I have the artistic ability of a 3rd grader. So 4 plus or minus is what I have for Lexington, and then decrease it north, increase it maybe a little bit to the south. With that, boys and girls, I think yeah, Amanda, you're in the 3 to 6 range. Well, did they change? Okay. The winter weather advisory that just came out. Let me make sure. So we've got an update for Georgetown. Okay, so that's still continuing. The winter storm warning still continues. What they are doing now. So you're getting this live. So what they are doing now is they're putting a winter weather advisory after the winter storm warning. So the winter weather advisory is going to be for late tomorrow afternoon and especially tomorrow night. I will show you what that is for. Not that, I want that. Okay, so there is an advisory that's coming after. So we will add a little bit to the snow totals perhaps, and this is as the real Arctic air is pouring in. So let me show you real quick. So there's Wednesday, 8 o'clock. So we've got this little wave coming in. And this again is an Arctic wave. So this will be high ratio snow. See how that comes through tomorrow evening? So, you know, we could cheat a little bit and say the total snowfall is 3 to 6 because we may have to wait for that second wave to get to that number. But yeah, that's coming through late tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. So that's also on the table. So that's what you saw that advisory for Richmond. That's what that is for. Harrison County, I think you're an inch or two northern part of the county, 2 to 3 southern part of the county. We'll go with the 3 to 6 for Lexington. And you know, midnight-ish now looks to be the start time, so that's been delayed a little bit. And yes, it does get warmer next week. Thanks, Jerry, for saying the audio's okay. Again, Maysville is certainly less. So this is our debut on TikTok. I don't have any makeup on, so sorry I can't do a makeup tip for you. And you know, the closest thing to dancing was probably me gesturing here. So I guess that's all that happens on TikTok. I don't know. But Facebook and YouTube, we've been on there for you as well. Are we on anything else besides those? Like quick weather? Nope, I don't think so. Oh, if I could stream if I got the premium on X. So, but again, our engineers did a nice job setting all this up. Bourbon County, again, lesser amounts of snow overall. Again, you might be the 1 to 3 north, 2 to 4 south in Bourbon County. Wind chills will likely go negative tomorrow night and certainly on Thursday. And I've got Friday morning, assuming that we have 3 or 4 inches of snow on the ground, I've got us below 0 potentially Friday morning. So that's it. We will have a TV update coming up here at 11. That's 11 when we do it on LAX 18 News. So I hope you get the weather you want. And if we do get the snow as we should, of course, take it easy, slow down, increase your following distance, and it'll be hanging around for a few days because it's going to be cold. Fleming County, you're looking at less. Inch or two for most of Fleming County is probably a pretty good number, especially the northern part of the county, maybe 2-ish southern part of the county. So that's again your setup. Alrighty, boys and girls, thank you again for clicking on our Facebook stream, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok stream, and again, we'll see you on the TV side.